Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, January 4th. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've had significant precipitation move across the Great Basin. In the last week, nearly all areas have seen heavy precipitation. The only exceptions have been over parts of southern Nevada, where precipitation has been quite a bit lighter. Otherwise, significant mountain snow in the Sierra and also into the mountains of central and northern Utah. Over the last 14 days, you can see the precipitation here is well above normal, certainly well above normal for the last week, but even over the last 2 to 3 weeks, well above normal across much of the northern half of Nevada, California, into all of Utah, and even into southern Idaho, into parts of Wyoming. Some of the drier spots have been parts of central Idaho and also southern Nevada. Over the last 72 hours, we've seen significant snowfall across much of Utah, especially in the higher terrain. But even in the lower elevations, we've seen anywhere from 6 to 12 inches or more in much of Utah. And then back into Nevada, you can see the precipitation into eastern and central Nevada and the Sierra. However, prior to this last 72 hours, we saw more significant snowfall into parts of western Nevada and the Sierra over the holiday weekend. The snow depth is indicated on the right, so obviously the mountain locations have significant snow, but even down into the valley locations, plenty of low elevation snowfall, which is currently compacting a lot of the fine fuels across much of the northern half of Nevada into Utah. Our current snowpack is well above normal in all areas. All of Nevada, Utah, and the Sierra, and even down into Arizona is above 150% of normal, with many areas above 200% of normal. Further north across Idaho, still doing very well with above normal snowpack, just not quite as high. We're more in the 110% to 140% of normal range. Our current satellite image shows this large area of low pressure off the west coast, which will continue to be a presence through the weekend and next week, and this will send impulses through the Great Basin, giving us several shots at precipitation and windy conditions, especially for Nevada and Utah. So for today, we have a ridge of high pressure across the Great Basin, but again, this area of low pressure is moving into California, so we are already seeing some light precipitation this morning over western Nevada and then into the Sierra, and heavier precipitation in California. This will continue pushing eastward. We'll also have some gusty winds out ahead of this system as well, especially into Nevada. With the recent wet conditions and the continued wet weather that we are expecting, fire potential will remain low across all areas of the Great Basin and the West. Looking at our transport winds, you can see those winds picking up today across parts of Nevada, even into parts of Idaho, still lighter winds into Utah. Mixing heights will remain low to moderate across the region. Our precipitation for this afternoon, you can see pushing into the Sierra and even into central and western Nevada. Some lighter showers further east, but for the most part, the precipitation focused out west today. Dispersion will remain generally low over western areas and in the moderate range over parts of Utah. As we move into Thursday, this area of low pressure pushes further eastward, so this will push precipitation across Nevada and into northern and western Utah. We'll also have some gusty winds associated with this low, especially over southern areas as it moves through. Still low fire potential. Transport winds, again, you can see how those stronger winds pick up over the southern half of Nevada, into the Arizona Strip, and even southern Utah. Mixing heights will be increasing as this storm moves through. Precipitation on Thursday, we will see that precipitation spread across Nevada and even later in the day and towards the evening work its way into the western half of Utah. So we will see, again, mostly snow in the lower elevations. Could see some rain mixing in with this storm off and on, but for the most part, still expecting snow anywhere from the mid to higher elevations and even in the low elevations as well. Dispersion will remain low over the northern half of the region and a little bit higher down south where those winds will be picking up. On Friday, this system swings through, but still low pressure off the west coast, so we will have kind of a break in the weather, still low fire potential. Transport winds will also be decreasing across the area with generally low mixing heights on Friday. And the precipitation will be pushing through Utah, so early in the day, certainly some showers still lingering across Utah, but those will likely be clearing up later in the day. And ventilation index will remain low, so poor dispersion region-wide. Temperatures will generally remain seasonal, could be a little bit above normal across parts of Utah, but still generally around normal for the time of year with highs in the 30s and 40s and lows in the 20s and teens. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah over the next few days, You can see today with lighter winds, generally low clearing indices, winds pick up over southwest Utah on Thursday and then remain gusty in the higher elevations of the central and northern mountains on Friday. So aside from those gusty winds, generally low clearing indices. The 3-day forecast amount of precipitation, you can see here the heaviest amount of precipitation certainly is in California and the Sierra, where we will see several new feet of new snow in the higher terrain. Not quite as much precipitation as you move further east, but still good amounts of precipitation across Nevada, Utah, even up into Idaho and Wyoming. As we move into Saturday, we will have another wave of precipitation moving into western areas with a ridge of high pressure dominating the eastern side of the Great Basin and quieter conditions. Dispersion will remain low across the region with this ridge moving across. On Sunday, we will see winds pick up as this system moves in, so better dispersion across Nevada, but also more precipitation moving in with this next wave. And then on Monday, again, similar conditions, just the next wave moving in for the early part of the week, going into Monday, Tuesday. So another round of some windier conditions with improved dispersion across Nevada, but also another round of precipitation. Precipitation for days 4 and 5, this takes us from Saturday through early Monday morning. You can see most of that precipitation hangs into California and the Sierra and far western Nevada, with lighter showers across the northern half of the Great Basin and even down south. And then as we move into the Monday through Wednesday time period with that next wave, we will see some showers even over southern areas that have been kind of on the drier side into southern Nevada, still heavier precipitation in the Sierra, and then we will see precipitation pick up into the higher terrain of Utah, Idaho, and Wyoming. And then the 7-day total precip, so still good amounts of precipitation across the region. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from January 11th through the 17th, shows generally warmer temperatures, but still that above normal precipitation signature across much of the west. So still expecting wetter conditions and low fire potential to continue. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back next Monday for our latest updates.